Hi everybody, welcome to the series of videos on how to make a short interactive quiz in Flash or Animate. This is just an introductory video into the whole series. So first of all, just a little bit about Flash itself. So Flash was first released in 1996 as part of the Adobe suite. It's quite a well-known bit of software used primarily for things like animation, website creation, game creation. It's a very creative bit of software. Now, when it first came out, it was very, very popular. And we used to do things like making a lot of websites within Flash because early hypertext markup language, which is the way you make websites, or the language you make websites in, is very static. So you would use things like Flash in conjunction with things like Photoshop and Illustrator in order to make them much more creative, to be able to make them look pretty, to make them much more kind of interactive for an end user, because ultimately end users want to be entertained when they use websites. Now, obviously, Flash is part of the same suite of programs as Dreamweaver, Fireworks, Photoshop, Illustrator. Now, when this first came out, the Adobe suite was pretty much just those programs. However, these days, there are many more programs that come part of the Adobe suite. So you have things like Premiere Pro, which you can use to create videos, and there's lots of other stuff as part of it. And one of the good things about Adobe is all of the programs look reasonably similar. So if something is in Photoshop, you can be reasonably sure it does a very similar job in Flash. And that makes it much easier to use. It's part of the reason why it's been so popular over all these years. Now, you do need to bear in mind that Flash was superseded in recent Adobe packages with Animate. It is ultimately pretty much the same thing. And so when I'm actually creating these, I've got Animate on my laptop because I subscribe to Adobe. However, you may be using Flash. Now, the types of things that we're going to be doing are not complex enough for difference to actually make any noticeable impact. Ultimately, the things we do will be done the same way in Flash or in Animate, and it's only really when you go a lot deeper into Animate that you would find differences. So basically, you're looking at support for current design of websites, which there have been some issues recently with Flash. So, for example, it's no longer recommended for use on websites because of security concerns. So, if you're taking people's data, it could potentially be quite easily stolen if you use Flash. And also its impact on battery life for mobile devices. So it can really make it much quicker in terms of the actual speed that the battery runs out on. So if you're kind of using a mobile device and you're playing Flash games, we'll all know that it uses up your battery life much quicker than if you don't. And that's not a good thing ultimately, because people don't like their battery expiring on them. Now, ultimately, we're not going to be taking any major data. We're going to be getting some short multiple choice questions and then be getting answers from the end user, and then we're going to be giving some feedback on that. So we're not actually taking any data there. Flash and Animate, I don't know why I've got an S on the end there, but Flash and Animate continues to still be quite a popular package for things like standalone projects such as games, such as quizzes. So, for example, I went to Oxford Airport a little while back, only a few years ago, and they use Flash as part of training packages in order to do things like training security guards in terms of spotting suspicious packages and so on, and making sure that people are aware of the actual things that they needed to do. So, for example, if they thought that somebody was trying to take a suspicious... Why can't I say that word? If people think that they were trying to take a suspicious package onto an aeroplane, what would they need to do? Or let's say, for example, a fire broke out. They would use, or they used Flash in order to create little quizzes for people to test their knowledge on, and so that they could say yes, they're reasonably confident that they would know what to do in a given situation. Now, obviously, this is a series of videos, so the idea is that you watch and follow them, but you're going to be able to pause and try these things out any given time. I thoroughly recommend that after I do something, you guys pause it and then try it out. But also, do your own thing with it. Don't do exactly what I do, because ultimately, if you go into the real world, you're likely to want to do different things. That's just life at the end of the day. These type of skills will help you, but ultimately you're going to want to do your own thing. Try things out. Flash and Animate are complex programs. Okay, you are not going to know everything there is to know about Flash and Animate in half an hour. You're not even likely to know everything after a month. You're going to need to spend a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of practice at this in order to use their full potential. If you've been using this program 10 minutes and you're saying to me, Mike, I don't understand this. Well, yeah, because you've been using it 10 minutes. You need to be trying and trying and trying and practicing and patience as well, because ultimately you're going to make mistakes. I still make mistakes, and I've been using this program 20 years. It happens, and you need to learn from them, because ultimately, it's not unusual, and that is the best way that we do learn is by trying things and making errors and learning from the errors. Like I said, the video is designed to be followed sequentially. If you're looking at this video and all of a sudden then you decide to go to video 4 in the sequence set, you're going to miss a lot, and you're probably not going to understand some of the stuff that we're talking about. They're designed to be followed sequentially. They're designed for you guys to listen to them and follow what I'm doing, and like I said, try and expand upon them in your own way. In order to actually take everything from them that you need to do. The videos are not designed for use on mobile phones, so the reason for that is predominantly that I have a very big screen that I'm doing these videos on, and actually when I come to do things like little bits of coding that we're going to need to do in order to make this media, you'll find it difficult to see on a mobile device. So therefore I would recommend that you view on a laptop or a PC at all times. And one of the good things about it being on YouTube will be that you guys will be able to check it out anytime you need to actually refer to anything. So, it could be at home, it could be when you're in another part of anywhere really. You'll be able to watch this and actually check it out. Obviously, Flash itself isn't free, which is going to be a downside. However, as a student, you are able to get a discount. I think it's about £16 a month, which actually is pretty cheap, to be honest with you. Or you can get a 7-day trial, which, when we actually come to create this thing, should be enough as long as you use that time efficiently and don't just leave it sitting on your desktop to gather dust. But yeah, ultimately, hopefully we'll be able to create a nice media product, and hopefully it will be beneficial to you. Hopefully you enjoy this video set as well. Ultimately, it's Flash is actually quite a fun and creative thing to do, and if you can kind of get your head around it, you should be able to do other things in the Adobe Suite, like Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, Premiere Pro. All of those sorts of things. They all work pretty similarly in the Adobe Suite. Okay, so let's get cracking. In the first video, we're going to look at the interface in Flash.